All right, so we are recording. So let's go ahead and lay down on our backs, and we're gonna get into the supine pelvic tilt position. So we want heels about fingertip distance away. And the first thing that you want to think about is having that bowl right in your tummy. And we're going to tilt the bowl so that the water in the bowl is spilling towards the face. In this tilted position, you want a deep breath into your belly. Keep the tilt as you exhale. And then release the tilt. And then you'll reset. So we're going to tilt that bowl, spill the water towards your face, inhale into the belly. Exhale. And release the tilt. We're just going to keep working through this. We're going to tilt the pelvis, inhale, expand the belly.
That's gonna make a funny video.
And exhale. And release the tilt. We're going to tilt the pelvis again. Spill the water towards your face. Inhale, keeping the tilt. Exhale, keeping the tilt. This is getting all those connective tissues in your abdominal wall to start talking to each other. Let's do two more here. Tilt the pelvis, keeping the tilt. Inhale into the belly. Exhale. And release the tilt. One last time, we're going to tilt the pelvis. Deep breath into the belly. Feel it expand. Keep the tilt. Exhale out all your air. Keep the connection. And then we're going to release that pelvic tilt. Now, from here, we're going to be going into the double leg hip bridge. So what I want you to do is take your mini band, and we're going to band right above the kneecaps. And we're going to be in the same position that we were in. So if you want to double up that band, that one's perfect. And we are going to make sure first we have a nice neutral spine. So we're not arching our back against the floor. Palms are going to be up, facing the ceiling. And then we're going to bridge those hips up and hold it. 3, 2, 1. And bring those hips down. Just tap them to the floor. Right back up. 3, 2, 1. Come down nice and slow. Tap your bottom to the floor and then right back up. 3, 2, 1. Good. This is halfway. Hips back up. Hold, hold, and then back down. We have 4 more left. Hips up. 2, 3, and down. We have 3 more. Hips up. 2, 3, and down. The last 2. Hips up. 2, 3, and down. Last one. Hold it up. 2, 3, and then slowly bring it down, and we're going to roll over onto our side for side lying clamshells. So when we do our clamshells, your head's going to be supported by your bottom arm. We want to have a nice long spine, so you don't want to have your head cranked at a weird angle. We're going to have our feet together, knees together, and then slightly slide that top knee forward so that your hip is pointed to the ceiling. And as you keep your feet together, we'll lift the knee, feeling this in the outside of the hip and the glute. We're going to hold that up there for a few seconds. This is working on helping us stabilize our hips and our pelvis, which when we give birth, obviously we do a lot of changing there, a lot of shifting and a lot of moving. And this is helping restabilize that area and helping us get ready for our next birth. Yeah. This is halfway. We're going to do 4 more on this side, holding that up for a few counts on each one. Make sure you're not rushing through these. Slamming your knees together, nice and controlled. 2 more. This is one of my favorite exercises for working the hips and the glutes. All right, now we're going to switch sides. You can always just roll to the other side, but for the sake of showing you, I'm going to flip this way. Same idea here. You want your heels even with your bottom, your top knee slightly forward. Lift that top knee, keep your feet together. Make sure you're feeling it in the outside of the hip. 2, and down. 3, hold it up there, and down. 4, and down. We have 4 more on this side. Could be mindful that you're not letting that hip roll back. 2 more. Last one on this side. And then next, we are going to take off the band, grab your foam roller, and place it in between your thighs. And we're gonna get into that tabletop position, or what we call 6-point position. So two sets of toes, 2 knees, and 2 hands make our 6 points. We're gonna start with our left hand, or you can just mirror me, either way is fine. But I'm gonna reach under my torso, so separating my shoulder blades, feeling that stretch, and then I'm gonna squeeze my foam roller as I open up through my chest and my shoulder, squeezing my shoulder blades together. And again, you won't go perfectly vertical, but your goal is to get as much range of motion in each direction as possible. We're going to get 4 of these on each side. This is 3. This is the last one on this side. Squeeze that foam roller as you open up. And then we'll go to the other side. So again, reach under, feel the shoulder blades stretch, and then squeeze the roller as you rotate to the ceiling.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Reach.
My chest muscle.
Oh, are you okay?
Yeah. Do you know, have you ever had that?
You have like a little spasm?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, there we go.
Yeah, take your time, take your time. So try not to reach beyond your point of discomfort. Try to just go to a mild stretch.
Okay.
So again, just 4 on that side. You want to stretch your range of motion, but be very cautious with your range of motion at the same time. Reach and open. And if you do get cramping, another thing that we would want to be looking at nutritionally would be making sure that we're getting you soaking in magnesium.
Okay.
Because magnesium.
Is that like the sulfur?
Magnesium is going to be, so the best source for magnesium as far as absorption rate goes would be via a liquid magnesium chloride.
Oh, okay.
You could definitely get magnesium through different oral sources as well. But from a absorption standpoint, and when we know we have gut health issues, magnesium is one of those nutrients that's very poorly exchanged in the gut tissue,
Okay.
especially when somebody's dealing with digestive health issues. So, and I know Graham could probably confirm this for me if you talk to him, because it sounds like he and I are like so on the same page. So
Yeah.
like I would feel really comfortable actually, like if we ended up both treating you, like like me from the nutrition and workout perspective and him from the functional medicine perspective. I know that I know he's on the right track with what he tested because I can see it in all of your symptoms.
Well,
that
and
your
I also
liver,
have history for lack of magnesium anyways.
well, and with the liver stress, like with this, just like the everything that he tested for the other day,
Yeah.
like I totally know he's in the right ballpark. And we just need to figure out where to go from here for you.
And just for history's sake as well, we were just talking about too that I've had a history of test results, blood tests showing certain numbers showing that I have a lot of iron in my body, but then there's parts of it where I have anemia at the same time. And basically my functional medicine doctor said that's an absorption issue. So you're not absorbing.
It's totally an absorption issue, and it's a filtration issue. So it all comes back to liver at the end of the day. So the next one we're going to do, Lori, we're going to be in tall kneeling position with the foam roller between our knees. And we're going to be using, you can use no band, but you can also use the super band. So this one is for strengthening our upper back and shoulders. So we're going to be squeezing the foam roller between the knees, making sure that the hips are tucked, that we have our glutes engaged. And then we're going to be holding our band palms up, pulling that band apart and squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then bringing the band back nice and slow. So keep your elbows tucked in close to your sides, pull that band apart and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Awesome. And then bring it back nice and slow. We have 6 more of these. Make sure you're breathing. Exhale as you pull apart. 3 more. Last 2. And last one. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Keep them away from your ears. All right. Next one, we're going to be in half kneeling position. And you can grab a dumbbell, like a 5 or an 8 would be great. I'm going to be showing you, because it was the only thing I forgot to bring with me to Wisconsin, but I'm going to be showing you with just a band. So even if you just had a band available for this particular exercise, you're going to be in half kneeling position. Same thing, you want your hip tucked under so that your glutes engaged on the kneeling side. And what you're going to do, so if you're holding your dumbbell, you're holding it horizontally, long ways. And what we want to do here is keep your shoulders down and back. We're going to press that dumbbell out. We're going to lift overhead. We're going to bring it back down to chest level. And then we're going to squeeze it back into our chest, drawing our shoulder blades together. We're going to do 4 on this side. Just like that. Keep your shoulder blades engaged and activated. 2 more. And doing this with a band is a different kind of challenge, but try mixing it up and using the band one day and using the dumbbell the next, and you'll notice that you might feel better doing it one way as opposed to the other.
Okay.
Switch knees. We're going to do the same thing with our arms. Again, engage your glute. The kneeling side glute should be the one that's really fired up. And let's press, lift, lower, and pull it in. Press, lift, lower, and pull it in. 2 more. Last one. All right. From here, we are going to do alternating lateral squats. So I'm going to pull you up here. And when we do lateral squats, we want to make sure that we have a nice wide stance. So you're going to be wider than shoulder distance apart. So think of yourself like a gigantic, beautiful triangle. And if I turn to the side, when I do these lateral squats, I'm not letting myself roll onto the sides of my feet. And I'm sitting my butt down and back, like there's a chair waiting for me. And then I'm pressing myself back to the center. And then I'm lowering myself down to the opposite side. So the bent leg, you're going to feel that in your hip, in your glute. And then my straight leg, my inner thigh. So it works the entire lower body. Good. You can even go just a hair wider with your legs, Lori. Yes. So you want to feel like you're still in control, but you want to be going wide enough that you can get your full range of motion in. Let's do 2 more to each side. Again, making sure that you're keeping your feet nice and flat to the floor, that you're not letting yourself roll onto the sides of your feet. 1 more to each side. And last one. All right. So the last one in your warm-up, we're going to be putting that mini band back on above the knees. And you're going to do lateral band walks. So you're going to start out in a semi-squat position. So for that one, if you want to double that up and pop that on, you can go above the knees or you can go mid-shin. Anywhere in between there is fine. Just don't go on your kneecaps. But what we're gonna do is get into what I would call athletic position. So a semi-squat, knees slightly bent. And you wanna imagine that you're leading with the outside of your whole entire leg. Take a tiny step out and then a tiny step in. You're gonna go to the right for 10 steps and then back to the left for 10 steps. And we're gonna do that 3 times. And your booty should be burning, maybe even by round 1.
Okay.
Definitely by 2 and 3. And if you happen to have a space that doesn't quite accommodate 10 steps, then you do whatever number. If it's 8, if it's 6, whatever works for you, but do 3 sets, down and back is 1. And again, it's a great exercise to stabilize the hip, stabilize the pelvis. Make sure that as you are doing these, that you're thinking about creating a straight line across, that you're not going up and down the whole time, that you're staying very level. And that's going to enhance your efficiency and increase the intensity a little bit.
Okay.
All right, when you finished out with your 3rd set, take that band off, and then we are gonna go into your core work. So that was your full warm up. So if you were having a day where you were really running short on time, you could do that warm up.
Okay.
Start to finish, and you could go through it 2 or 3 times and treat that like its own workout if you wanted to.
Got it. Yeah.
So your core work, this is where we're gonna help create some of these core connections that your body is really wanting to recreate.
Okay.
So for this exercise, I took my skinny band, so you could take your orange one,
Okay.
and I popped it into my TRX, right in my door. So you'll see, here's my TRX setup.
Yeah.
But I have my mini band popped right in there, and we're gonna be getting into tall kneeling position, so both knees down, and you're gonna grab one end of your band in each hand. So this would be ideally, like if it were tied around, even tied around that pole in the middle of your room.
Yeah, I forgot. I should have.
Oh, it's okay. It's totally fine. You'll be able to follow along with this. So
Yeah.
what you'll be doing here is you're gonna wanna keep your arms straight, but soft. So not locked out or hyperextended at the elbow. You wanna have a softness, a slight curve, but nice and firmly straight so you can pull straight down to your thighs. And you also wanna make sure that just like with any exercise that we start from this position, that your hip is tucked under and that your glutes are squeezed tight.
Okay.
So if you wanted to, you could take your foam roller and pop it between your thighs.
Yeah.
And you could squeeze your foam roller as you pull down. And you might notice that that actually makes a big difference for you.
Okay.
So you'll do 15 of these. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 2 more, 14, last one, 15. You'll set that band aside, and what you're going to want to do from here is grab your a stretching strap or a band or a towel, and we're going to do passive leg lowering next. So the passive leg lowering exercise, we call it passive because we're using something to hold our non-moving foot. So we're going to lay down on our back. You're going to have your back nice and flat to the floor. One foot strapped up with whatever you're using, but both feet pulled towards you, ankle flexed at 90 degrees. The free leg, we're going to slowly lower down, keeping your core neutral, back not arching, abs engaged. And you're going to be doing a minimum of 10 on each leg. And as you get better with these and as you gain efficiency, you can work your way up to doing 15 on each side. Four more. Don't let the heel touch the floor. The lowest you want to go would be just slightly above the floor, and making sure that you're not disengaging through your core. You want to feel this in your abs. You don't want to feel clicking or popping in your hip. If you're feeling that, you might be going too low. And then we'll switch sides, holding the other foot in place. Make sure that that free leg is flexed at the ankle. Lower the heel towards the floor and exhale the foot back up. Inhale down, exhale up. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 more, 7, or sorry, 3 more from here, 8, last 2, Lori. And last one, keep those shoulders down away from your ears. Make sure your upper body posture is still good. We're gonna set that band off to the side, and you would pause here if you need to do a second set, or you could rewind back to the beginning of the set. But if you wanna go on from here, we're gonna be moving on to your power development. So we would be using the TRX for this next move, which is called a hip press and an explosive row. So this is one of my favorites because it helps us build power. And power is one of the first things that we will start to lose as we get older, which inhibits our ability to stop ourselves from falling. So what we want to do with this exercise is we're going to start in a reclined position, just like we would for any TRX row. But what we're going to do from here is we're going to have our feet in a squat distance stance. We're going to drop our hips into what's called a hip press. We're going to press out of it and then row in and explode into that row versus a slow, controlled row, which we're going to have some of those. I want this to be explosive. So hip press and then explode. Hip press and explode. There's no pressure on your knees. You're dropping your hips into that deep squat, keeping your weight in your heels. 2 more here. You're going for 8 total. Last one. After you finish the last one, you'll be taking roughly a 45 to 60 second break, just long enough to regain your composure. You'll do a second set for the first couple weeks, and then you'll move on to a third set. These sets don't take very long at all. That is your power development. So that will be the only exercise, and you'll do it by itself. From there, you will go through to your strength circuit. So your strength circuit has 5 pieces to it. And I'm going to walk you through all 5 pieces because you would technically do all 5 exercises in a row, then take a break, and then lather, rinse, and repeat. So you will work up towards 3 sets of this, but in the beginning, 1 or 2 sets will be enough. So the first exercise is a kettlebell or dumbbell. You could hold your dumbbell vertically. So if it were a dumbbell, it would be here. If you're holding the kettlebell, you'd hold it at the horns, here at your chest. But either way, we're going to be doing what is called a tempo squat. So the tempo squat for you is going to be a 3-second hold at the bottom. So you're going to want to hold, so since you have your kettlebell, you'll have hands on the horns and you'll have the bell resting against your chest. Exactly. So from here, you would want to drop your hips down into the squat. You would want to hold for 3, 2, 1, and then stand up out of it nice and tall. Good. Drop it down, 3, 2, 1, and bring it back up. I'm gonna watch your squat. Go ahead and go into your next one. This is 3, 2, 1, and up. Very good. Continue. Drop it down. 3, 2, 1, and up, just like that. Drop it down. 3, 2, 1. That's 5. Drop it down. We're gonna get 10 of each today. 3, 2, 1. That's 6. 4 more. Drop it down. 3, 2, 1. That's 7. Last 3. Drop it down. 3, 2, 1. And up. Last 2. Drop it down. Hold, hold, and up. Last one. Drop those hips low. Hold it. 3, 2, 1, and stand up nice and tall. So go ahead and set your kettlebell off to the side. Another side note here, you're gonna be working your way up to 15 to 20 repetitions on these exercises, but for the purposes of today, we're gonna be doing 10 of everything. Second exercise, back to your TRX, would be TRX rows. Now these are gonna be the control version. So shoulders down and back, palms facing each other. We're gonna draw the shoulder blades together and squeeze, and then control it. Squeeze and control it. The further you walk your feet in towards the door, the harder it gets. So adjust accordingly. And also imagine while you're doing these that you're holding a quarter in between your butt cheeks, because it's gonna keep your glutes tight and keep your hips really solid. You're gonna be doing 15 to 20 of those. And then after you get done with your inverted rows, we'll be moving on to goblet hold. So back to your kettlebell reverse lunges. So for the reverse lunges, you'll be holding the kettlebell at your chest in that goblet position. We're gonna do all one side. So stepping back into that lunge, make sure that the majority of the weight is on your front leg. As you step together, drive off the heel of that front foot. So your glute, so if I'm lunging back with my right leg, my left leg is doing 90% of the work right now.
Am I alternating legs or just one leg?
No, you're gonna stay on the same side. You're gonna do 8. Beautiful.
Sorry.
Well, you're good, you're good. I can see you just fine.
Oops.
Good, keep the majority of the weight in your front foot.
Which way do you prefer? Sorry.
You're totally fine either way, honey. Just worry about the exercises. Good. Step together. Good. Let's do 4 more on that side. And together. Step back. And together. 2 more. Step back. And together. Last one. Step back. And now we're going to switch legs. So go ahead and think about planting your other foot firmly in the ground. And then your lunging leg, think about getting it loose.
Okay.
You want all your weight in that standing leg. Let's go ahead and lunge it back. Strong leg, step it together. 2, and together. 3, and together. 4, and together. 5, 2 more. 6, actually 2 more from here. 7, last one. And good. Now, very good. Now we are going to go back down to the floor. Keep your kettlebell close, depending on what weight you want to use. But we're going to be doing the floor press next. So I'm going to be showing you with no weight, because if you were ever in a position that you needed to do these with really anything from a water jug to your baby, you could really use anything for this particular exercise. But we're going to start. So we're going to imagine that my ball is my weight.
Okay.
I'm going to be starting out by pressing with my right hand. I'm lying on my right side. So that weight is going to be held in that bottom hand. We're going to roll to our back, and we want to have that pressing arm to the ceiling, Our opposite leg is straight and the same side knee is bent, foot firmly planted into the floor. From here, you're gonna lower the elbow to the floor and press that weight back up over your chest. You're gonna be doing 10 to 15 repetitions on each side. And depending on what weight you're using, they might look a little slower or a little faster, but you wanna use a weight that challenges you by the last couple repetitions, no matter what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a bigger weight than this.
Yeah, so you'll just wanna go with something heavier, go with, I mean, even the weight of the kettlebell that you were using for your lunges. You could definitely experiment with it and you'll find your sweet spot with your weight.
Yeah.
When you finish that side, you're gonna roll back down to the starting position. So especially if you're using a kettlebell, it's important to do this because then you can just drag the kettlebell around your head rather than trying to transfer the kettlebell over your face, which is never safe.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Rolling to your back, weight in your hand, and then pressing the weight over your chest. So again, 10 to 15 repetitions. Everything we do today is going to be for 10 for the sake of example. And then you can always fill in the rest of the repetitions as you go along and you build your efficiency with the workout. 3 more. 2. Last 1. All right, so those are your floor presses. After your floor presses, you are going to have double leg hip bridges with banded knees. So you're gonna revisit your hip bridges one more time. You're gonna band those knees up one more time above the knees. And we are still going to practice that 3-second hold. So heels fingertip distance away, palms up. We're gonna bridge up, 2, 3, and back down. Bridge up, 2, 3, and back down. 3, 2, 3, and down. 4, 2, 3, and down. 5, 2, 3, and down. 6, 2, 3, and down. 7, 2, 3, and down. We have 3 more. That's 8. We have 2 more left. 9. Last one right here. Hold that up. 2, 3, and down. So take that band off from around your knees. And the only thing that we have left is your finisher. So if you were doing multiple rounds of your strength, you would take a quick break here, about a minute, and then you could go back to the top of the order and you could go back through that circuit again. So you could stop this, rewind it back to the top, and you could follow along with this 2 times or 3 times. Okay. Your last one, or the original video, of course, that I sent you, which doesn't have any talking really, or it's just me talking. The last is your finisher, and the finisher is going to be our replacement for cardiovascular conditioning. So we're going to do a combination of body weight squats followed by TRX rows. And you're going to be doing this what we consider countdown style. So what that means is the first round, you would do 12 body weight squats, 12 TRX rows, and then you would take as long of a break as you need, but as short of a break as you could stand. So just enough to catch your breath. And then you would do 10 and 10, 8 and 8, 6 and 6, 4 and 4, and then finish with your final round, which would be 2 and 2. So it would be as fast as you can from that first set of 12 squats to the very last set of 2 rows. So what your goal is over the weeks that you do this finisher is that it takes you less and less time to get it done.
Together.
Yeah, so you basically work on increasing your efficiency over the weeks, increasing your speed, but never neglecting your range of motion. So it's always, even though they're speed squats, it's still full range of motion.
Right.
And then going right to your row And even though they're fast, full range of motion. So you're not skimping and going through it at half mast. You want to be making sure that you're getting full range of motion, but over time, you'll get more and more and more efficient with getting the whole sequence done.
Got it.
So you can start your watch, or you can start a stopwatch or a timer, and you can see how long is it actually taking me to finish. And since you're a competitive person, it can be the game of
I'm really
me.
thinking, how short can I do this?
Right. So it's a game of me versus me.
Yeah.
Like how good can I get at this?
I'm thinking
And
like 20 seconds in between.
if you need to rest, great. If you don't need to rest, and, like on the first couple rounds and you feel fine, don't rest.
Got it.
Okay. You might find that you have to pace yourself a little if you don't want to gas yourself.
Right.
So the first time you do it, it'll be very eye-opening for you to go through the full thing, and you'll be like, oh, I see what she was saying.
Yeah.
Because it is a very gassing finisher, and it's like you'll be dripping sweat.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of what was done in CrossFit. They would do things like that.
Yeah, so the biggest difference is that we don't want to just look at the time.
Yeah.
We definitely want it to always form first, range of motion second, and then speed.
Exactly.
So if you need to, on the first time you do it, take your time. Don't worry about doing it the fastest. Worry about doing it the best.
Yes.
And then turn up your speed knob.
Okay.
So that'll be your finisher. So what we'll do is I'll have you go through this workout tomorrow in its entirety. And then what we'll do is our next time we meet, we'll be going through the other day. So I'll be doing the same process with the other day. I will professionally record it for you, and then we'll do this with it as well. So I'll be able to send you this recording as well. So let me stop this recording, and I'll trim this